Not only am I going to teach you all of the dailies inside of Enfield and exactly what they're important for, at the end of this, I'm going to give you an optimal route to run dailies as well as optimal zipline routes for the open world materials. Let's get started. The first and most important one on the list, you press F8 right here, your daily tasks. Make sure you're doing this every single time you log into Enfield. You get oroberyls, you get EXP, and you even get sanity, so even more stamina. And with this game being so sanity gated, this is very important. These are pretty easy to do. You log into the game, you defeat 20 enemies, that's 40 right there. You spend your sanity, that's another 20, so you get 60. Then from there, if you want to complete it, you can either assemble one gear or you can gift to one operator. This is another daily, so you are going to do this inside of the daily route. You don't want to do that, you can always assemble the gear over here. One trick to this is if you go to the non-set and you scroll all the way to the bottom, as long as you gather some wood over here, you can always craft these daily, and then like that, you're done. Also worth pointing out that when you claim these actually give battle pass exp, so make sure you're claiming that as well. Since we just mentioned it, the next important thing for you to do is sanity. This is the stamina system inside of the game. It should be pretty obvious. You just go over here to the index and you spend stuff. The bigger concern is going to be, what do you spend it on? In the later stages of the game, you're going to start doing these as you get your essences. Subscribe if you guys want to see a guide for that, but this is not the time for that. What I recommend is that you actually spend it on whatever you need over here, as you're going to need all these resources. Currently, I'm the most gated on T credits, so I've been spamming T credit. That said, if you need essential materials, you can spend on essential materials. If you need skill mats, you can spend on skill mats. The least important probably being character EXP, because you make this inside of Dijiang, which we'll talk about in a bit. So now you understand daily tasks and you understand sanity. Let's talk about the factory. There's a few dailies you need to understand inside of the factory. The first is outpost management. Over here, as you craft goodies, you can turn these in for stock bills like so. This isn't going to be a factory guide, so I'd recommend looking up other guides, as the factory itself can be kind of complicated. But do know that your goal is to turn these in and to get as many stock bills as possible, as you're going to be using them to buy stuff over here in stock redistribution. Since we're on the topic of stock bills, I'm going to give you two tips real quick. First is this early warning terminal that you'll find at all the sub AICs. If you end up doing the auto defense feature, then you'll get a permanent buff that will increase how many stock bills you get. So I'd recommend doing this. All you need is some upgraded towers over here, and you do the auto defense. Pretty simple stuff. The second tip is if you go to outpost management over here and you go to the, actually my webcam is covering this, the bottom left, you'll see there's characters over here that'll give you additional stock bills as you turn stuff in. In my case, for this first one, Levitain has all three, so I want to put her on here. But if I didn't have her, then on top, for example, has two, so it would be most efficient for me to use them next, as my next best character only has one. Basically, don't miss out on stock builds. On the next topic of factory, inside of here, if you press Y once again, the depot node. These are extremely important. I would recommend maxing out every single one of these. Press check location. You can see them on the map marked over here by these little, what is that? I guess like a cube, three-dimensional cube, I guess. Once you have them maxed out, there isn't technically much of a need to actually go to them. But to do these, all you're going to do is press pack goods. Then you're going to select the top one. That's going to be the highest efficiency one. Press next, fill it up with whatever. In my case, I'm going to fill it up with the shredded Farium powder. Now, once I go ahead and accept this job over here, the top one gives the most bills. Instead of me actually doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to press transfer job. This will send it to one of your allies. You don't have to do this anymore, and they will get credits. For you to claim that, you go back to the depot node, you go to jobs transferred, and you press claim all over here. You can see I ended up getting extra bills for it. Once again, in the factory menu, one last daily for the factory is inside of stock redistribution. It is the elastic goods. Basically, every day you're going to get X amount of goods you can purchase. So in this case, every 24 hours, I get plus 320. I believe this varies based on your regional development. I'm not 100% sure. But what you want to do is you want to fish around for the lowest price. So the lower number here, the better. So in my case, these prices look all kind of mid. You can go all the way down to 60% even. So none of these are particularly good. I'm not near capping, so I actually don't want to buy them in my case. But now, let's go check Wuling, because we have the same exact thing over there. Stock redistribution. We go over here. We have minus 40%. I already bought mine for today, so I can't actually do that right now. This would be a not terrible one to buy if I wanted some extra stock bills. Now that you've bought them, here's what we're going to do. We're going to press on this, and we're going to press Friends Pride. For this system, it's important that you have a lot of active friends. In my case, I need people who are in Wuling, because I'm doing the Wuling one. And from here, we're going to press Visit Friendship. And inside of the friendship, we're going to go in and turn this in at their Dijiang. This is going to give us the credits at their rate instead of the rate inside of our worlds. giving us more stock bills. This is basically just printing free stock bills for you daily. Make sure you're doing this. It's literally the most efficient thing you can do for stock bills. I go over here, I sell all, and just like that, plus 456 Wuling stock bills. Simple stuff. Now you understand the daily tasks, you understand the factory and the dailies around that, you understand how to spend your sanity. Next, we're going to talk about Dijiang. The easiest way for me to do that is to go over here to the control nexus, and right here we can go ahead and manipulate all of these rooms. Now you can see here there's 4 different rooms we're going to talk about. Let's talk about these ones first, the MFG cabin. You can adjust these to farm whatever you want. In my case, I'm farming both character EXP and weapon EXP on the other one, and then your characters over here that you assign will end up farming you some mats. You can max these out, and I'll tell you over here how long it's going to take. This is multiple days. At max level, you can assign 3 of these, and based on your character's talents, they could potentially give you buffs. In this case, I get mood drop slowed over here, meaning that they can work for longer. And from Levitain, I gain EXP material efficiency. So it's better if I have these 2 over here. There are some characters that are better assigned to the Nexus, for example, which you can see right here. Both Perlica and Aviwena grant additional mood regen to all the characters inside of here if they're assigned to the Nexus. So something to keep in mind for different characters, they'll have different buffs. And once again, you can change these for whatever you need. In my case, I'm farming EXP over here. And then in the second cabin, I'm farming the weapon EXP. Let's talk about the growth chamber because it's a little bit more complicated, but not too much. So inside of here, you can go ahead and put in some of the essential materials and whatnot. These are used for skills, ascensions, leveling up, all that stuff. In order to actually get the materials to be able to do this, you have to go over here and extract seed. Something gacha games are very great at doing. Now, what I would recommend is if you have the yellow ones unlocked, you would do the yellow ones. So in my case, I only have 13 of these green ones, so I'm going for a bunch of those. But whatever materials you're low on, you would just go ahead and extract over here and then end up growing. Pretty simple stuff. Now, the more complicated and arguably more important one is the reception room over here, but it's not too complicated. Basically, your characters over here are going to start collecting clues like so, and these clues you're going to put on the wall. Once you get 7 of these, you can exchange them for 300 credits. Credits being an extremely important system that is under talked about that we're going to talk about in a bit. Now, there's a few things you can actually do inside of here. Not only can you collect the clues from here, but you can actually receive clues from other friends, and you can also send them to other friends. Now, this is pretty important because if you send the clues to other people, you will gain credits. You can see right there, I just gained 40 credits for sending it to them. In fact, out of everything in the Dijiang, I would say the clue room is probably the most important because credits are just that damn important. So make sure you're doing those clues. I've seen a lot of people neglecting that. So now you understand all the cabins inside of here. There's 2 more systems we have to talk about inside of the Dijiang. The first one is gifting, and I'm going to go over here to this thing to go and show it to you. So you can run into them or across the map and whatnot, or you can go to this terminal over here to call out whatever character you want to call out. So in my case, let's call out Levitain. We got our waifu over here. We talk to her, and you see as I talk to her, I can offer her a gift. You can give gifts to your operators to have them increase their trust in you. You want to ideally give these hot gifts as that gives more of that efficiency for giving a gift as opposed to giving, say, like these ones, right? Where you only gain that small percent. Now, this trust is important because if we go over here to Levitain, for example, and I go to ability matrix, you can use this to get the operator's main stat. So in a DPS's case, I would have a 60 main stat right there I'm missing, which is essentially an extra gear piece. The more gifts you give your character on a certain day, the less trust they will receive from those gifts, hence this being a daily task. So especially if you're main DPSs, make sure you're giving gifts to those characters. I forgot to mention this a second ago, but if you go into your Dijiang menu over here and you go to production assist in the top right, you can go ahead and use these. It's just your various friends giving you assistance to whatever your character is. So in this case, I give it to Lefong to restore some of his mood. That'll help me produce faster. Now, if I go over to here, for example, and I use the production assist over here, it'll give me some of the extra materials faster, right? So in that case, it's sped it up by 2 hours and 22 minutes, which is pretty cool. You use this on every single one of the cabins. Use it over here. That one sped it up by 2 hours. I think you're getting the point. Speaking of assist, the last thing I want to talk about is assisting your friend. That's right. We have friends in this game. So if you open up your friends menu over here and you see the Dijiangs over here, you can join your friendship. Now, the important ones to join over here are going to be the yellow ones because those are clues. So I join my friendship. If I go over here to the guest terminal, I can go ahead and help out from whatever. So I want to help out with the clue exchange. We just press that. You see that right there? Plus 50 credits. You should be doing this daily. Credits are one of the most underrated systems in the game. We can go to give assist right there. That's plus 20. Another plus 20. And then we just go down our friends list. We want to make sure we're prioritizing the ones clues on them. You can see right here, it'll tell you in the top right how many of each you can do. The yellow ones over here are the clues. The blue ones are everything else. Now it's time for something I've been hinting to this whole time. The credit store, the most underrated aspect of dailies in this game. Now the credit store, you can essentially think of it as extra sanity. So every time you're getting credits, you're essentially getting sanity because you're getting all of the rewards that sanity gives you, right? You see inside of here, I get skill mats. I get Essential materials, I get T credits, right? And you'll see these are discounted. Go to move my camera again. What is important for this, and something a lot of people neglect, is that you only want to buy the turbo discounted one. Why? Well, because down here you can see you can refresh. And if you refresh, you have a chance of getting oroberyls. And as it would turn out, we all like pull currency. You also have a chance to get arsenal tickets as well. If you press the question mark down in the bottom left, it'll tell you over here what exactly you can do for the credit rewards. You get 300 at a base as your friends, once again, friends being important, sell goods inside of your Dijiang. You'll get additional credits over here. You get some from the clues we mentioned before, assists. You get 100 right there. As people join your clues and whatnot, you exchange clues and whatnot, you get some from there as well. You get 300 for doing the entirety of the clue exchange. And if you accept other people's jobs from the packaging depot nodes, then you can also get credits from there as well. So over here, I'm going to buy the cheap ones. So these are minus 75. So I want to buy those. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to head and refresh. So I refresh right here. Banger, I get arsenal tickets. Now these are small amounts, but you're going to be going through quite a bit of these. So it does add up. Right there, I spent all my attempts. It is what it is. If I have to refresh multiple times, that's fine. Do remember that anything under the 300, you can carry over into the next day. So as long as you're under 300, that's fine. If you feel like there's nothing good in the shop and it's too expensive to refresh because you already refreshed once or twice, then you can go ahead and wait till the next day, see what's there, or play for the refreshes there, claim this afterward. Super simple stuff. The last system I want to mention is kind of technically two different systems, but they're both tied to the overworld mats and the zipline route that I have set up for us today. The first is going to be these rare mineral spawns. So if you go over here and you look at these are rare growth. Right here where we are, these are rare ores. You're going to see this across the map. These are used for skill enhancements, for example. I want to level up my ultimate right here. You can see I need 3 of these. These are the higher level ones. In our case, if I go to a lower level one, you can see right here, I need some of the fungal growths. If I want to level my weapon, for example, let's go ahead and promote Perlica's weapon. You can see down here, I need these materials. So that's where these come from. These are from the open world. These will refresh gradually over time. You don't technically need to do these daily, but it is recommended to do them a good amount in the early game. You will eventually get to a point where I am, where you don't even need to do this anymore, but it's something to keep in mind. These are extremely important in the early game. The second thing that is important to get, mainly for Dijiang and leveling up Dijiang in the early game, is going to be the owls, the recycling bins. Across the map, you're going to see these recycling stations over here that you can gather resources from. As you gather these, you see these materials right there. You will end up capping out on these within roughly 3 weeks or so of farming it, but it is extremely important that you get those up ASAP because remember, those systems inside of Dijiang are essentially just you getting extra sanity. So now you understand all the dailies, what they're useful for, and you got some extra tips along the way to help you as you do your dailies. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to give you an optimal route to run in order to do your daily. And this is going to be broken up into 2 parts. First, we're going to run all the dailies that do not involve the overworld materials. Then we're going to show you the zipline route. I'm going to show you the optimal way to set that up using infographics and whatnot. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to press F8. We have our dailies over here. We're going to do that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to whatever we need to spend sanity on, and we're going to go ahead and spend sanity. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and farm skill materials. Boom, we killed them. Obviously, I'm going to skip through that in the VOD, so you guys don't have to watch that. And let's just pretend that I got done with spending my sanity there. Next, once we spend our sanity, we're going to go to the outpost management. We're going to go ahead and sell everything it is that we need to sell. So in my case, I have buck capsules. I have the batteries. I also have and citron that I'm going to sell. I'm going to keep my Farium parts. That's for other stuff. And I could technically sell batteries as well, but we'll keep a hold of those for now. So I'm done selling those. I got my stock bills. The next thing we're going to do, stock redistribution. I go over here. I see if I have anything good. In my case, I don't, as I mentioned before, but let's pretend I do. I go over here, press friend's price, see what it is I can sell for. Like that, this is 4.7K. That looks like a good price for me. 500% versus owned is crazy. Let's go over to our friend's ship. And when inside of his ship, we're going to come over here to the terminal. We're going to go to the stock redistribution place. In our case, this was Valley 4. I'm going to sell all of these plus 3 million stock bills. In 2 years from now, that'll be my subscriber count if you guys subscribe. Next up, we go to the guest terminal over here. We can go ahead and do a clue exchange and provide assistance for them. Give them all the assistance that they need. We get some extra credits from there and we leave. Now, we're not fully done with that. We still have to do 3 more clue exchanges. We'll do that in a bit. We're not done with the factory yet. Next up is the depot node. So as I mentioned, you're going to pack goods, select the top one. Technically, you don't even have to select anything. It'll select it for you. We ship this out. And then instead of us doing it ourselves, select that. We go ahead and press our quest log, and then we just press transfer job in the bottom left. We have 1 more depot node to run that for. So we'll go ahead and go through here, press this, max it out, ship it out. Yep. Amazon Prime, transfer the job because I'm a lazy bastard. Last thing we need to do, we do the same exact thing except this time for Wuling. So I go to Outpost Management. I'm selling Wuling batteries. There we go. Nice payday. Then we go over here. We go to Stock Redistribution. Check if there's anything for us to buy. In this case, I'm already bought out. We already sold everything useful. I'm going to hold on to that for now. And we're going to go to depot node. Go to depot node. This thing's already on cooldown. We can transfer. And then there's one more thing over here, the environmental monitoring. I actually forgot to mention this earlier. These are pretty simple though. You just track and then you go teleport to wherever it is and you take a picture. This is simple stuff. I forgot to mention this during the dailies thing earlier, but this one is super easy. So you can see I come over here. It'll enter camera mode. You just go to this orange spot or yellow spot on the ground. You just take a picture. And just like that, it's done. Literally, that is it. Then you can go over to the next one. We got over here. It'll say photo. So we go track. We go press whatever. We go to over here. We teleport. And we're going to go do the same exact thing over there. Once again, we see the yellow spot on the ground. We enter camera mode. It literally holds our hand, directs us to it. Super easy. We got one last one to do. Rainbow fin in water. All right, high key, that one's a little bit annoying because we have to go in the middle of the water, but it's fine. And see, I go over here, take a picture. I'm on the thing. So chill. Now we're going to go back to Dijiang. There's two things we have to do. First, we have to set up all our cabins. Then we're going to do our gifts. And after that, we're going to do our friend. I guess that's why they call it friends with benefits. We run up here over to the control nexus. Technically, we would have done this when we were in Dijiang originally, but it's fine. Over here in my case, I already did everything as I was showing you guys earlier, so we can just pretend I'm going ahead and like grabbing my stuff and whatnot from these guys. I'm setting up everything right. I provide the production assist, in my case, to restore some extra rest and whatnot for these guys. So I use my production assist over here. I can go over here if I have an extra one. It's fine. No one loves us. Not a big deal. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here, select our operators, and then give them gifts. So let's pull over Levitain. Now, I don't actually have the hot one for her, as we saw earlier, so normally you would probably efficiently only do the hot ones, but you know what? I'll add one of these. There we go. You get that. We give her gifts. Last thing on the menu for Dijiang is going and helping out our friends. So remember, we have 3 of these clues left. We want to go to any of the yellow ones to get the clues. We go to their place. We give them the assist. We make sure we do the clue exchange. That's the big one. That gives us credit. We go over here to the guest terminal. Do the clue exchange, plus 50 credits. Then press escape, and then we go to the next one. So this one's another yellow one. Another clue exchange. We just go right there. Clue exchange. All right, we got one more to go. Another yellow right there. Let's just go ahead and take that. And another clue exchange. There we go. We can go check over here. I'm 0-0, so I'm maxed out for there, so we can end visit. Now, the last thing we check, we press F5, go to the credit store. We see what it is that we need to buy. So in this case, this is 50% off. I'll buy that. Anything below 50% off, I probably won't buy. So now I have the option of refreshing. I could have refreshed right there, or I could just buy out whatever over here. What I'm going to do is, because I'm at 242, this is going to be fine with the overcap because I'm under 300. So I'm just going to stay right here. We're just going to chill. We're going to see what happens tomorrow. If I have to refresh tomorrow, that's fine. So I mentioned we're going to be using an optimal zipline route to get all of the overall materials. It's actually going to be these right here. Don't worry. I'll link this down in the comments below so you can go ahead and grab it there if you want to set up the zipline routes. I'm going to show you what the zipline routes look like because a lot of these places are super specific because you're going behind very niche crevices to actually get to them. But I'll link that down in the comments. So actually, if I do this on my map, you can go ahead and see where the ziplines are going to go to every single one. You can go ahead and pause the screen if you want to see that. The blue ones aren't mine. The white ones are. We're going to be going to all these nodes over here. I'm going to take you there step by step. So step number 1 is starting up here on this. And we're going to walk over to the first zipline over here. We're going to go over here and you can loot whatever it is you need up here. You need these. I looted most of these already. So we'll just like grab whatever's over here. All right, perfect. We're going to go ahead and go to the first zipline right here. From this zipline, we're going to go all the way over here. You can see a bunch of pink stuff over there. If you want that, you can take that. If not, we're going to go to the next zipline, which takes us over here to the materials for your weapons. You can go down here, mine whatever, take this. Next up, take this right here, go to the next one. Take this, and then we have 2 options. We can either go over here and go to the skill materials that are right over here if we need these, or these aren't on cooldown, or we can go down further in the map. Like so. Grab the skill materials over here if we need them. You can either set up your zipline route to zipline all the way back over there, or you can teleport over right here. I set up my ziplines to go through all the way, go like this, so you don't have to remember teleport places and whatnot. But if you want to, you can go ahead and teleport over there if you want to remember to teleport every time. You're right here in front of the base. Now there's a owl recycling station over here. So we take the zip lines all the way back over here to the recycling station. Keep in mind, we have the setup for every single map. It does take a little bit of time to get all this set up, and you don't technically need every single one. Once again, you're not going to need every single material from these, but if you want to min-max, keep grabbing all this, you can do that. Now from here, we're actually going to teleport right here. Up here, there's some materials. You can go ahead and grab these. Again, skill mats. Then another zip line right over here. You guessed it, more zip lining. Keep in mind, as I said before, some of these positions are pretty specific. Like this one is kind of hard because you have to like thread the needle for some of them. We go over here. There's more dailies over here to collect. Grab these real quick. Boop, 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 boop. All right, good enough. And this is one of like the more specific ones where you have to like thread it through a little bit over here. This one we need to stop a little bit early. Unfortunately, the ones back there don't actually, the zipline can't go through the tree over here. So you can't actually grab it. This is for the ores. You grab some of the ores here. Mine through. Actually, a trick you can do that I should be showing you guys. You can just bomb these like that. I don't know why I'm not doing that. I'm kind of trolling myself right now. You can just bomb them. I'm a bit of an idiot. Okay, we're almost done with Valley 4. A lot of work for the dailies over here. Remember, you don't have to do all the overworld dailies every single day. These do take a few days to respawn, but on the days that it does respawn, it is nice to have this. You go over here, lose some of these, and then you got 2 more stops on this area. Go over here. And then if you want to grab those, you can grab those. Remember, we already grabbed those earlier. This takes us right in there. You can thread right here. Glitch through the wall. And you get the last recycling depot over here. I believe I showed this one earlier, so it's not available. Yeah, there you go. All 18 zip lines to get all of the materials in here in a row. You can use some of the teleports as well to make that faster. Next up, Valley Pass. So we have 3 zip lines over here total. So we got this one over here that leads to that. And you grab this. We have this one that leads right there. So you teleport here and go there. This one, you can't really zip line to. You have to go just walk under. Have fun with that. You go to the zip line. Go right here. That goes to that. And then this brings us over here. Ow. You can see you can just barely thread through. And then right here you go. Run over. You get the recycling station. Yummy. Now, we're going to teleport up here. This one is super simple. Go right here. Take the tower. And you go right there. Take that tower. Good to go. You can grab the materials over here. Go to the next place. We'll go to the quarry. So the quarry's a little bit weird. You can only have 10 zip lines over here. So mines are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can actually have this one connect over here, but do keep in mind you have to go all the way around to apply the power over here. I had to go run at the very least through down over here like that, like that, like that, and then go apply the power like that. You can't actually like cheat cut like that. That kind of sucks. But we take this zip line once it's set up, and you can go down here. First thing is going to be grabbing this. Then we're going to teleport back. Right here, we can go down, glitch through that again, and there's a bunch of skill materials over here. Yoink, 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 yoink. There's one in front of me, but I'm too lazy to grab it. By the way, if you guys like this kind of content, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate it a lot. Helps the channel. Helps me know that you guys want to see more of these. You guys will actually see some of the chests are over here that I just left because I was busy setting this up. You guys, rather than actually exploring and grabbing the stuff. Yoink. So we got more of these. Okay. And then this one. So remember, we can only use 10 over here. So these ones are in the most exact of locations. And plus, like, the zip lines don't work super properly. There's one thing over back here as well. I need to go ahead and bomb to break this. Oop. And then down here, there's going to be some skill materials. There's a chest up there, but I'll grab that later. That's fine. The last place you're going to go is you're going to teleport right here, right in front of the bridge. And then there's 2 places you can go from here. Right next to the amethyst store. We're going to go to the zip line over here. There's that down there. You can grab all of these. And I'm acting like a peasant again. So let's just blow these up. You can aim at the ground. It makes it easier because of the giant explosion. Boom, boom, boom. Then we take this. I got confused by the 2. Take this. We go over here and we go to the owl depot node. Take the zip line. You can see these are here. This goes exactly here. I get off this and it leads me into the station. All right, next up, Originium Science Park. Now, there's a lot of weird ones on here that are extremely tight, so I actually would recommend watching this rather than trying to do it on your own. You can see, like, actually, I'll just get through it. Let's go ahead and get started. So there's one over here. Our starting point is all the way at Route 5, this TP point. So we start right here, and we go over here, and right over there, we'll take that, and that'll lead us all the way over to a depot node. Now, we're actually a little bit low on zip lines. You can't get all the zip lines on this map, so I can actually go through and go all the way to the end. But you put it right there. And, well, I guess you could shortcut some of them if you want to. If you want to, like, do a different route or whatever, you could do that. Already grab this. And we latch back on. And we go over here. And we're going to go down there over by the worm. There is a 4. We go over here. Throw the needle. Once again, clipping through some walls, base stuff. And then right here, we have a zipline to the top. And we get off right here. And there's all these fungi over here. From there, you can TP over. And now you have 2 ways you can do this. You can either go the forward route or backward. This one's extremely close on how you thread it, by the way, because you just barely make it through if you see like that small crevice right there. So we're actually not going to go that way. We'll go around there. But you see that small crevice, right? So be careful with setting those up. Try to set it up in like that pretty exact location. Right here, you want to get off. There's all the materials right here. Grab these. Jump down real quick. And then from here, we're going to teleport. Grab these. And we're going to TP right here. This TP is going to lead us to the ones in the back. For this one specifically, I actually tried to go all the way to the back for this, but you actually can't. I'm not going to go all the way back there, but if you want to see, there's the ores right there. You guys can go nuts with that. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to go back and circle over here. Or you could always TP as well. So I'm like kind of double checking. There's a depot node right there, or not a depot node. There's an owl right here you can also grab. There's not enough zip lines to get every single one, but you could jump over this and grab the owl right here. From here, we're going to teleport over here, and the zip line right over here on the edge. Now, there's one down here. This leads all the way over here, which leads... Actually, I was supposed to go to that one. This one is not my zipline. Wait, I got trolled. Dude, the random ziplines of the world are ruining my routes. That's not even my zipline. The one down there behind the waterfall is the one we want to go to. Little troller dogs. You go in here. And then we get the fungi. Once again. Grab. Then you can either teleport or... This is actually technically faster than teleporting. We just go back here and we're going to go to the ore back over there. And as I mentioned before, the one over here is actually connected, or I connected one right there to one in the front, so you could actually backwards run this route as well if you want to do that. See the ores right there. You can connect just barely through that. You can grab all of these. Don't forget, you can use the bombs and explode. Yummy, yummy. I actually have too many of these, so I'm not even going to bother collecting. Next up, Origin Lodespring. Dude, this one is a bitch to set up. We're going to start right here in the middle TP. Now, you actually use the middle TP to get to every single aspect of the map. You can go and see the zip line. So we start right here. We can go over here. This goes over here. There's some down over here as well. One down here we're going to. Over here. A lot of places over here. Let's just get started. Dude, high-key, I'm kind of losing my voice from talking during this. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So right over here, we got the ores, the weapon. Go ahead and blow these up. Boom. As I said before, I'm like turbo capped on these, so I don't need them all. I'm going to teleport back. From here, we take the same exact thing once again, and we go down south. And from here, we're going to go over to the left. And this goes and grabs these fungi that I was talking about before. Grab all these. Yoink, yoink. Fun stuff to run through. Remember, you don't have to do these every single time you go through. These things do take a few days to go and reset. The only ones that actually technically reset daily are the owls. So right here, you can see I set up 2 down there. You don't technically need that one to be set up down there, because what you can do is you can grab this. Oops. You can... Can I move? Oh, I already grabbed it. So you can grab that and you can just jump down here. And then from jumping down here, you can go and you can grab the materials that are right here. We go back here. And then we'll go right here. There's a depot right here. We're actually going to go back to this twice because it leads us to 2 different places.
Stay alert.
So there's the recycling machine right there. I keep saying depot. I mean recycling machine. And then down here, there is a bed as well that we're going to go grab. That has a fungi. Go down here. We clip through again. The last one over there. And we go over here. We grab all the fungi. Actually, to grab it. Now we'll teleport back, go through over here again, go to this one, and this connects right over here. And then we have two routes. We can go that way or we can go down here. Down here, there's more materials. I'm not even going to bother grabbing him anymore at this point because I think you guys are getting the point. I don't think I need to grab every single one. There's a thing right over there you can grab. Cool stuff. And then there's the one over here. We go through here and see there's a bunch of ores right there that you can grab on the map. And this will lead us over here. Then from over here, we can either go to the right and we can grab the ores inside of there. Or you can go back to the left over here, and this circles around to everything. Actually, this entire thing is like a loop that connects. So there's fungi right here. Grab these. I actually do need these ones. And then we're going to connect over here. This one is super tight. As you can see, you can just barely thread that through, and that barely threads through. Well, this one barely threads to that. You can see the zipline block right there. This leads us to a depot node if you need the deliveries. You can use this to go over here. And then this, once again, threads through to go over here and go back to that mineral bed. And boom! We got one last place to do. So the route's going to look like we go over here, then we go over there like that, and then we go up through here. There's an extra one over here in case you need the essence etches. This will just make it easier to go there because the field's right here. So this one leads over here, gives you that, and then this one has two over here. So let's go ahead and get started. This is right here. Use this to go down over here for the depot, or not the... I keep calling them depot nodes, the recycling stations. There's something wrong with me, like mentally. I can't even loot it. There we go. Now you can either port or you can just go back up. It's like the same thing. You go up here, and we're gonna go right here, and then right over there. Takes us exactly to the skill materials that we need over here, and you yoink all these. And then once again, you have the option of either porting. Backpack is full. All right, I'm done looting. Backpack is full. I should have dumped some of them in the fat. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Over here. So down right there, you can see in that little cave, there's more ores. You would just take this off and then go inside of there. We're not going to do that in this case. Go over here. This leads to the depot node. Depot node, we go over here. So this leads over to the essence etches that we mentioned before, if you want to go that way. Or you can come over here. And this one will lead to both the materials over here. You can go to that real quick and show you over here. This one is the fungi, I believe the red bullets or whatever they're called. Boet. That's right over here. Under that. Down there.
Long distance hauls can get really tiring.
And then we come back over here. The Endman is not catching any rest. Appreciate the thoughts though, Gilberta. And the last place we need to go on the map is over here. This one has the recycling machine, and it has two of the mats, or no, one of the mats rather, down at the bottom. Maybe I do need to catch some rest. Got these over here. I can't actually loot these. I wonder what happens if I just leave them on the map the whole time. That is the optimal zipline route to get all of your materials. It does take a ton of energy. I'm almost out of energy, actually. You can see over here I'm at 5.5k out of 5.7. Hopefully that was helpful. Like, comment, subscribe if you liked it. You can check out my beginner's guide. You can check out my, I don't know, some other guides going to get linked over here. Check that one out as well. I'm tired as hell. Peace.